Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Now I'm making another discussion video. This is a sort of an important thing I was thinking about the past few days, and it's one of those topics that I feel that I'm not a big fan of, but it's, something that is happening. So here's what I'm talking about. I don't think a lot of you guys would even think this is a big thing or anything, but so my question is, will Injustice 2 come to the Nintendo Switch? So while Injustice 2 was ramping up back in the February to from the January to March time frame, I was totally thinking they've made it very clear that this game was a Xbox One and PS4 pretty much exclusive thing, and they said nothing about the Nintendo Switch. And so I was wondering, maybe this was going to be some big E3 thing where, hey, Injustice 2 is going to come to the Switch, a couple months late, but it's okay. Here it is for the Nintendo Switch. Now, off the top of my head, I feel like I would say the Switch would probably be the best console out of all the three to have this game on. Can you imagine bringing Injustice 2 with you basically anywhere you go? I mean, obviously you can't really play the online or like the multiverse, but I mean that's without a Wi-Fi connection. But if you do, then you can play online for basically for free, and you can play the multiverse anywhere. And so, anywhere, sort of, if you have a Wi-Fi connection. Or they could make it work. Or, or maybe in the game's file, they could just have some sort of pre-downloaded, multiverse. Which, I actually am not sure how. I'm pretty sure multiverse requires Wi-Fi to continually download the data. But what they could do is they could just continually download multiverse data onto the Switch, and then have it just load regularly. Now online is different because you're playing online, but that's not the meat of this video. That's just a couple reasons of why I think Injustice 2 on the Switch would really work, probably the best out of all three consoles in terms of its like core, just how amazing it would be. But that's not the core of this video. The question is Injustice 2 going to come to the Switch? And basically my answer is no. It will not come to the Switch. I don't think Injustice 2 will ever come to the Switch. I don't think it's going to come out in a couple months. I don't think it's going to come out in a couple years. I don't think it's coming to the Switch at all. So here is why I think that. It has nothing to do with Injustice 2 being too big of a game. It has nothing to do with it being, I think it partly could be due to the fact that while developing this game, they probably, at NetherRealm Studios, they probably haven't received the Nintendo Switch, port things, all the information they need to be able to make a port of a game onto their console. They probably just, one of the things that probably contributed on some level was the fact that the Switch is a very, very new console. The game came out in May, the Switch came out in March, and so for them, they're thinking, this might not be a worthy investment for us to release this game onto a console that, that is not selling amazingly because Nintendo isn't making enough systems to meet the demand. So to them, they're probably thinking that this just isn't worth it. Now, I think on some level that's possible. But here is the core reason of why I think releasing Injustice 2 on the Switch would directly contradict what NetherRealm Studios is trying to do with their mobile games. So you guys are probably going to think that this is dumb, but it really makes sense. NetherRealm Studios has really been putting a lot of time into their mobile games, Injustice Mobile 1 and Injustice Mobile 2. Especially Injustice Mobile 2 as of late. Injustice Mobile 1, we don't know the future of that game. But the second game is what they're really going for at the moment. So what they're doing basically is play Injustice 2 when you're home on the Xbox or PS4. When you're done playing at home and you go to work, you go to school, you go on a trip, you boot up Injustice 2 Mobile to keep the game going while you're gone. And obviously, what they've been doing so far with the mobile game is, they don't want anything getting in the way of that. You go home in your house, you're playing Injustice 2, and then when you're not at your home, or you can be at home, but when you're away or you don't want to play the game on the console, you're playing it on your device, your phone or your tablet. So here's the thing. If they were to release Injustice 2 on the Nintendo Switch, they would almost be shooting themselves in the foot. They would almost be directly killing Injustice 2 Mobile and Injustice Mobile. Now, why do I say that? Because Nintendo Switch is a console that you take with you wherever you go. Like I already said in the beginning of the video, everyone who knows about the Switch already knows this. So if you own Injustice 2 on the Switch, you play it at home, and then you take it with you. Now, here's the thing. If they sold this game on the Switch, they would be contradicting the idea that you play the game at home, and then when you're not home, you play it on the tablet. They would be saying you play it at home, and then you play it on your Switch, and then you don't have any time for the mobile game on the tablet. What they're doing for this is securing the Injustice 2 mobile app to make sure that nothing gets in the way of it. That this home and so that the console and mobile connection stays good. If they release it on the Switch, then they're basically saying, don't play Injustice 2 Mobile anymore, because now you can just take Injustice 2 console with you. So you don't even need to play Injustice 2 Mobile anymore. Now, I guess you guys could disagree with that to some degree, but I think that the fact that Nintendo Switch is a console you take with you would very effectively kill the Injustice 2 mobile game. This is something they've worked hard on, and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to just release it on the Switch. Alright, I'm pretty sure I have made my point clear. If it's not clear, let me say it one more time, very clearly. Just so everyone's on the same page. The Nintendo Switch is a console that you leave your house with. If you leave your house with Injustice 2 on your console, why would you then also play the Injustice 2 mobile game when you can just play Injustice 2 on your Switch? That would effectively kill the mobile game, which they worked very hard on, and it just would not be a clever business practice. Now, if that is not the reason that Injustice 2 hasn't come to the Switch, then I really don't know what the reason is. It doesn't seem like there's... That seems like the biggest reason to me. I'm pretty sure the Switch could handle it. And I'm pretty sure that it would just be a great experience otherwise. If there were no Injustice mobile games, then I don't see any reason to not release it on the Switch. Injustice 1 released on the Wii U, and the Wii U was not selling well at all, but they still released it on there anyway. But here's the thing, the Wii U isn't a console you can take with you. So the mobile idea still stands with that one. With the Switch, it does not. So if you have a Switch and you have a tablet, you'll probably take the Switch with you and not the tablet. So, I don't know. That's how I feel about this. That's why I think Injustice 2 will probably not come to the Switch. Alright. So, yeah, this is kind of a bummer. I really would like Injustice 2 on the Switch. Because, I'm not gonna... Like, I would hate to have to bring my PS4 with me if I move or if I travel and I want to play Injustice 2. And if it was on the Switch, it would be so much easier. and I would still play the mobile game. But obviously, that's not what they think. So, I would love to ask the developers about this. If we could get this video, like, to not trend, but if we could just get this to somebody who could give us an answer, I would really like to know what is the reason that Injustice 2 hasn't come to the Switch. I feel like this would be an incredible experience. It reminds me of Smash Brothers on the Wii U and on the 3DS. That would be so cool. It's like you play the Wii U Smash at home. When you're away, you play it on the 3DS. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing. But I don't know. That is likely the reason why they wouldn't want to effectively kill their mobile game by releasing it on the Switch, which would then act as their mobile. I don't think that would hurt sales, though, is sort of what I'm thinking. If they released Injustice 2 on the Switch, you know, and then if people stopped playing Injustice 2 mobile, in terms of money, I don't think anything would effectively be lost. I think this is just a compromise of a concept and its future. Because the last thing I want to say is that I think that this whole mobile fighting game thing that NetherRealm is doing is not only groundbreaking, but it's really going somewhere. Injustice Mobile is a very basic fighting game where you stand still and you have to swipe and press the special buttons. It's hardly a fighting game. It is hardly a fighting game. It's only a fighting game because you punch and you make contact in that way, but there is no movement across the stage that you can control. In Injustice 2 Mobile, you can move forward and back, and you can jump and duck. I would call this the midpoint of the mobile fighting game, or the almost the midpoint, where basically Injustice 3, or not Injustice 3, but maybe the next Mortal Kombat app, we may start seeing the quintessential fighting game on mobile where you have almost full control of your character like you would have in the console game. I would say by the time we get to Injustice 3, they may start charging actual big amounts of money on mobile for these games. Because at that point, you might actually be playing the actual game on the mobile with worse graphics, yes, and a little bit more lag. But you might be playing a very much simpler version of a game. They might say, hey, $20, and you get a simplified version of the same game where you still have full control of your character and you can still fight. But yeah, so this might have gotten a bit more complicated than I wanted it to, but I think Injustice 2 coming to the Switch would be a compromise of what NetherRealm is trying to do in the development of their fighting games. They don't want to cut the cord on what they're doing. They're at the midway point into something amazing. When the next Mortal Kombat comes out, they might already have created the fighting game that we play on console on mobile with just worse graphics and lag. That's what we could be in for, and you can have NetherRealm to thank for that. And I guess they just had to sacrifice an opportunity to have the game on the Switch for this to be a reality. I find this okay, but as long as this means that one day in the next 5 or 7 years we can have a basically fully realized fighting game on mobile, that would be very cool and an amazing thing that we've basically not seen yet. And what this could mean for the future is that Street Fighter, Super Smash Brothers, games like Tekken, games like, I don't know, whatever other fighting games there are, they would then follow the same notion and say, let's start developing fully realized mobile fighting games on mobile. That would be super cool. So the future in this sort of mobile fighting game thing is really cool. So this video went on a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I think I touched on all the points on the mobile fighting game thing and why Switch would be not good for that. All right, I'm done talking. I ramble a lot. I'm sorry. But if you actually enjoyed what I had to say in this video, if you've actually enjoyed listening to me talk about things like this, leave me a like and also subscribe. I don't make videos like this very often, but I do want to make videos like this in the future because I actually really like talking about stuff like this. Speculation. Nothing I said is 100% true, but I can say deep down I do feel like these ideas are what sort of are happening. So, therefore, thank you for watching the video. And that was a legitimate question, though. If we could get this question, not this video, but if we can get this question of, what's keeping Injustice 2 from being on the Switch, because the only thing I can think of is this compromise of their mobile fighting game. It doesn't seem like a hardware issue. It doesn't seem like a it won't sell well issue. It just seems like they just don't want to for a certain reason, which I talked about. So if we could get a developer, or even like Ed Boon, not Ed Boon, if we could get one of the mobile people to answer this question, that would be really cool, because I would love to know. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Alright, keep on fighting. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. And keep on fighting, even though I said that already. Alright, see you guys later.